Women here make more than 67% of our company, with 75% women in the executive leadership team. That means that Evie is the sole male, in case you all were just wondering. As a matter of fact, our very own president and chief operating officer is a woman of color. And she's here today to kick us off and share more about her experience soaring to the top 4% in this space and leading a fast growth organization. Naima Greenwood serves as president and chief operating officer at Yardstick Management, responsible for growing the Yardstick Management portfolio and managing ongoing projects. Before joining Yardstick, she served as a senior manager on a government contract with the Office of Foreign Labor Certification. Naima has a diverse background in sales, marketing, operations, and retail. She's an advisory board member of the College of Business and Information Science at Tuskegee University. Naima started her career at Target Corporations as a business analyst in the entertainment division. There, she collaborated with major movie studios and record labels in managing their releases. She later relocated to Atlanta, where she resides now, and she managed a $1 billion domestic landscape business for over 2,200 retail stores at the Home Depot. After completing her executive MBA, Naima was recruited by Bank of America, where she served as assistant vice president and oversaw efforts to convert California accounts to a single platform for improved efficiency, reliability, and managed a multi-million-dollar project to develop global consumer risk assessment plans for call centers. Please help me welcome to our stage my esteemed colleague and Yardstick Management's Madam President, Naima Greenwood. Naima.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Selma. Welcome.
Welcome to you. It's so nice to have this conversation with you and to share it with everybody, all of our audience. I feel like we talk a lot behind closed doors, but now we get a chance to share out. So as we kick off, Naima, tell us about your journey at Yardstick. How did you go from employee number 3 to now president and chief operating officer, leading America's Black-owned management consulting firm and its fast growth progress?
Absolutely. Well, it's quite a story. I was home, for a while. I had just had a child, a 10-month-old, and I was home taking care of her and getting ready to get back out there and into the workforce. And I got the call from Ebby, right? Ebby and I had been friends for quite some time, and we attended Florida A&M University together. And he simply asked me to, he was needing help at Yardstick. Didn't know what he wanted me to do yet, but just wanted me to join and help out. So absolutely, when I get a call from Ebby, certainly happy to assist. So I came on as employee number 3 and really did everything that was asked of me, going above and beyond, and really being there to have Ebby's back and support him, right, on this mission. I've been following Yardstick. This is our 10th year. I've been following them since inception, and couldn't be more thrilled to be a part of what Ebby was creating here and manifesting. And I'll say, just, from going to employee number 3, we have now about 26 employees in 2 years. So as you say, rapid growth. And truly for me, just being scrappy. I've done everything from coaching CEOs on how to respond to their organizations following the murder of George Floyd to placing Uber Eats orders for our virtual dinners, right? So, and I can't stress enough, as being a leader, like, you really cannot be beneath doing anything, right? Especially for us, a small organization in growth mode, which is what we are here at Yardstick. I have served in every role here at Yardstick. So as you know, we have an executive search line of business. We have our management consulting pillar, as well as supporting organizations on DEI. And most recently, we launched our inaugural institute. So just being able to be flexible in supporting the team in every facet of our business. And honestly, anything that we've learned during these past 2 years navigating the pandemic is just mastering the pivot, right? Post George Floyd, a lot of organizations realized that maybe they weren't as inclusive or as diverse as they thought that they were, right? So there's this heightened awareness around DEI. And we really leaned into maximizing that space and coaching leaders, assessing organizations, making sure that they are embedding DEI in everything that they do. And now I'm fortunate to be able to develop my team, support my team on our engagements, and making sure that we are continually making impact.
It's amazing. It's really quite an honor and so impressive to have watched also that progress and to watch you go through it too as well, Naima. As you're talking about developing the team, which you do a stellar job in that space, you've also, as you know, most of our team are women, and you've always advocated not only just for women of color, but all minorities and underrepresented, disadvantaged groups for some time now, and including in our space. Tell us what you're doing in the current role as President and Chief Operating Officer to empower women of color in leadership.
Well, as you know, Selma, we exist, right, to level the playing field for marginalized communities, people that look like me and you. And I think as moms, and women and mothers, we play a different role, right? We are servant leaders, right? We are constantly leading in our households, leading in the C-suite, leading and serving as an example for women to come. I would say probably the biggest thing that I do as a leader is making sure that we are placing women in the C-suite, placing women on corporate boards, women in leadership roles. Women don't have to start at entry-level positions, right? We need to have representation at every rung of the organization, from, the internship level all the way up into the C-suite. And honestly, I provide a seat at the table, right, for women, and especially women of color. When I start engaging with a client, the first thing I do is look at their leadership, right? And I ask, where are your women? Where's your representation? Where are your people of color? And they like to tell us, oh, we're so diverse, but I don't see that after a manager level, right? So the first thing we need to consider is, how do we, diversify this leadership role? How do your open roles? Are you bringing diverse slates of candidates? So we really check them. And I'm fortunate to be in the position where I can advise them and they're listening, right? And they're doing the work. And honestly, the best client are the ones who realize that, you know what, you're right. We didn't look around and we didn't see what we look like from the outside, right? And I always stress that, your organization should reflect the customers that you serve. So we are really walking the walk. I mean, here at Yardstick, as you stated earlier, we're 75% women. And I tell my clients too, look at Yardstick as an example. We're intentional about making sure that we create a space for women, that we elevate them. I'm fortunate to have a leader in Ebby who is constantly elevating women in this space and mentoring them and mentoring myself and helping me develop to be the leader that I am today. Also, I don't want to forget too, with that, equitable pay for women, right? That is the biggest piece. So women are consistently making 83 cents on the dollar. We are not 1 for 1 with men. And so we do equity analyses. One of the first things I like to do is understand how you are paying and compensating your women, and hoping that I can influence them to right size that and make that right.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because it's not enough to just have that seat at the table. Is it the same seat as my fellow, male, as my fellow white male or white female, et cetera? So I love that. I'm glad that you brought this up. And part of all of this in advocating for others that we work with, and also supporting our clients to do the work, is in relationships. Can you tell us more about the power of relationships and the role that it's played in your own career development, as well as the work that you do?
I'll tell you, Selma, in the work that we do and just what we see historically, most jobs are filled in your network, right? Before they hit those job postings and those job boards, they are going throughout their network to find out who they know so that they can bring them in, bringing in their friends. We do it too. We all do, right? So there is power there. So I can't stress enough how important it is to develop relationships, strategic relationships, to move this work forward. Even engaging with our clients, and when I'm telling and coaching our team and developing them on, being the best consultants they can be, is forge that relationship with your client. Your client, during the time you are engaged, really becomes your friend, right? Because I want to come in and really help you push this forward, like, especially the DEI work that we do. It's a lot of times a check the box activity, and we want them to understand that it's not a line item. And once we embark on this, you need to continue the work, continue to do the work. It's not going to, once this engagement is over, that it's done. And I've been able to maintain really great relationships with our clients. Going forward, they constantly still call for advice, beyond our engagement, because they realize the power in the relationship. Even thinking about, my last few jobs, I didn't interview because of relationships that I've had, and just that person knowing my caliber and trusting in me, and putting that trust and trusting me with their organizations and to lead them in the manner that I do.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, and I think we have such an incredible leader too in Evie, because the value he adds and brings to us, and even understanding how to navigate relationships, has contributed greatly to this space. And I am curious, is there any particular relationships that you could think about and feel comfortable sharing out with us that have helped you in your own career development? Is there any of them that you feel comfortable sharing with us, and why so?
Sure. Recently, I had the honor of joining Andrew Young to celebrate his 90th birthday. And he has been truly phenomenal and a phenomenal mentor to my husband and I. My husband serves on the board of the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA. He is the board chair, and he's been doing so for about 10 plus years now. And the mentorship that he has bestowed upon us, and the opportunities that he has granted us, and just helping us to understand how to also be servant leaders. We do our 9 to 5s, but also giving back to the community, helping other women, uplifting other women. I'm constantly mentoring young women, helping them, at RY, helping them apply for college, having those conversations. In my work on the board of Tuskegee University, I mentor quite a few students there, and helping them matriculate into the workforce and preparing them for that, giving them that professional development training. I was fortunate to get that at Florida A&M, but a lot of universities do not provide that professional development. So a lot of times when you're going into the workforce, you're struggling to navigate in this new space with all of these identities, and you're dealing with all the things. So I want to make sure that I'm able to do my part. Someone has helped me get to where I am, and has uplifted me, and has sponsored me, and mentored me. And I want to just be very clear that mentorship is very different from sponsorship, right? So just being able to lift someone's name in the rooms that I'm afforded to be a part of.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And in this space, as of course and we've shared out your journey and your career and where you've been, but I'm sure along the line of climbing your own share of ladders, the journey hasn't always remained so stable and consistent and easy. What has it been like? Maybe share out with us what that journey has been like to get where you are today, and perhaps even some advice or wisdom you can give to women of color, but also to the leaders that are in our space right now, who are elevating or should be elevating women of color who desire to be where you are.
Absolutely. The journey has not been easy. I've had to face my fair share of racism, sexism, bigotry along the way. But I will say each experience, favorable and unfavorable, have prepared me for the role I hold today. It has certainly given me very thick skin. And there's just not a lot that you can say to offend me. A lot of times, even being in engagements here at Yardstick, we've had clients that I was just not their cup of tea, right? And it was really just their own biases and, maybe unfamiliar and just being uncomfortable with maybe facing a leader who was of color, and they maybe just have not seen that and really uncomfortable with that. But, and I liken this to what we're seeing right now unfolding during the confirmation hearings with our soon to be justice. I'm going to put it into existence, that we're often having to just smile and push through, everything that is thrown at you, which we're seeing on full display, right? We are not afforded the opportunity to throw a tantrum and to complain, right? We have to, put our head down and push forward. And, these experiences, I don't regret any of them because they have helped me and molded me. And I'm able to share those experiences with women who are coming up behind me, coming up the ranks, and, not letting that interfere with their goal, and just keep their eye on the prize. So, and if I had to give a young woman advice, the main thing I would say is, just work hard, stay humble, not too humble, right? And bet on yourself. You're your biggest cheerleader. I am fortunate to have an amazing support system, and my husband, my parents, my family, my children, and I do this for them every day. Every day I serve with the charge that I have two young girls who are looking up to me and looking at me as their role models, and other young women and women of color and other women who are in leadership positions, and I serve as an example for them. And I'll leave you in part with these words: make complacency your enemy.
Powerful. That is powerful. That's our quote for the day. Naima, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing the insight. Thank you for leading Yardstick and the team. We appreciate you and value, and I'm sure our audience has also enjoyed this conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much, Selma.